Hey there and welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. It'll help my channel grow. And also, don't forget to click on that bell button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 3 brooms. And what you're going to do is basically remove the broom head from the broomstick itself. All we're going to use for this project are the broomsticks themselves. And you'll need 3 brooms. Once you're done with that, what we're going to do is measure the distance from the bottom all the way to the top of where you want to add your shelves. So basically what I did was from the bottom, where the white part starts on the bottom, all the way to the top, I did the first measurement at 3 inches. And what I did to the first broomstick, I did to all 3 broomsticks, basically measure it out 3 inches from the bottom. Now from that marking, I went up, I believe it was 15 inches. I went up and I measured all 3 broomsticks the same. And once I was done measuring the 15 inches, I believe it was from the top, from that marking, I measured another 10 inches to put my last and third shelf. So basically, depending on how many shelves you want to add on here, kind of just figure out where you want to place them on the handle, the broomsticks themselves, and then measure all 3 of them the same. And I'll leave the exact measurements down below. So there you are. It was 3 inches. And then from that marking to the second one was 15 inches. From that marking to the top was 10 inches. So that's how I did mine. Now what you're going to do is basically start adding your Jenga wood pieces to where you added your markings. And that's where you're going to put your shelves on. So what you're going to use is, or what I used is E6000 and my hot glue gun, and basically added a wood piece to each one of the markings. Now make sure you add the wood pieces on each broomstick in the same area. Try to make sure that you remember to line them all up on the same side of the broomstick. So go ahead and do that to all 3 broomsticks and all of the markings. So just go ahead and continue adding your wood pieces to your broomstick. Now you can screw, if you have or you know how to screw some screws onto your broomstick, but I couldn't do it, so I ended up using this technique. It worked perfectly fine. So this is what I ended up doing. And another alternative may be, if you weren't happy or you wanted to put something heavier on each one of these shelves, I would recommend you maybe adding a zip tie to each one of the wood pieces or your Jenga pieces to make sure it stays nice and secure. So once you're done adding your Jenga wood pieces to the broomsticks, what you're going to do is basically make a triangle shape with the broomsticks, and you're going to add a zip tie to the top. Now before you add your zip tie, make sure that your wood pieces are all facing inwards. So go ahead and do that, and then you just add your zip tie. Now I didn't tie it tight, just so I could move it around based on the size of the shelves that I'm using. And then once I'm done adding all my shelves, then I'll tighten the zip ties on top and add another one. So go ahead and open it up. And now what I did was basically add my bottom shelf first, and then I allowed it to the glue to dry. And what I used was E6000 and my hot glue gun. And then once that bottom shelf was dry, I went ahead and added my top shelf first and then my middle shelf. And that I did that so I could make sure that I didn't open it too wide for my top shelf, which the pictures that I'm using are all basically shadow box type pictures from Dollar Tree. So just go ahead and work your shelf or your picture frame in between and making sure that it's all lined up and on the wood pieces themselves. And here I am just adding a little bit more hot glue where there's a spot on each one of my frames. And now I allowed that one to dry, and now I'm going to add my third one. And the top one, I only allowed it to dry a few minutes, not too long. And now my third shelf, what I'm going to do is basically face it up. I'm sorry, face it up. So the bottom and top shelf are basically facing up, and then the third shelf is upside down, if that makes sense. So go ahead and add a little bit more glue to your second shelf and just allow everything to dry. Once everything's nice and dry, go ahead and tighten the zip tie on top and add an extra one if you like, and then spray paint it the color of your choice. And here I am. Before I spray paint it, I'm just going to go ahead and cut and remove the extra string or wiring from the zip ties. And what I ended up doing, you could use some jute twine or nautical rope to wrap the top part, or anything that you can think of. What I ended up using was one of these little party buckets that you can get. I believe it's in a package of 4. It's usually in the wedding section area. And I just flipped it over, added some hot glue and E6000 to the inside of my little bucket, and then placed it over the handles. And I did this because I'm not sure if I want to use it outdoors or indoors, and I didn't want to add any nautical rope or jute twine if I wanted to use it indoors, because in the area that I wanted to use it, it's not farmhouse like that style. So I just opted to use this, but you can use anything you like to cover the top, or leave it as is if you like. So once you've allowed that part to dry, then you can go ahead and spray paint it the color of your choice. And I ended up choosing to spray paint it brown. And this is the way it looks in my bathroom once it's all dry and put together. And another option is you might want to use it, say, in a living room or bedroom, which you can. And this is another way of using it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, you guys stay blessed. Bye.